Colorful fresh fruits and vegetables are an important part of a healthy diet, and many consumers are visiting their local farmers markets to purchase produce fresh from the farm and meet the people who grew it. Whether produce comes from 1,000 miles away or just down the road, whether it's organically grown or conventionally grown, steps must be taken to keep it safe to prevent food-borne illness. Food safety is critical. Produce must be planted, grown, harvested, stored, and transported using a series of best practices to prevent contamination with harmful disease-causing microorganisms. The goal is to protect even the most vulnerable populations, older adults, young children, and people with existing health problems. A good food safety plan on the farm includes many pieces. When all the pieces are put together, you have a plan for keeping your product safe. If you focus on just one or two pieces, your product may be unsafe. Let's take a look at each of these important elements and hear from farmers who've succeeded in growing their own operations into prosperous businesses. Land. Do you know the history of the land? How has it been used and what's been applied to it?
Well, this land has been used in the past until we bought it about 6 years ago for the production of hay, and I believe at one time it was used for cattle. But since we bought the land, it's only been used for the beginning of an organic farm. We started implementing those practices on a small scale when we started, and each year we've expanded. Basically, the tenets that we use are based on the National Organics Program of the USDA. It's all about feeding the soil, keeping the soil healthy, and transferring that to the plants themselves. And so we use some manures in our farming, but we're very careful about the composting programs we use. Again, those are prescribed by the USDA. We have a couple sources of manures. One is chicken and one is horse, and we combine those and compost it very thoroughly. We do things like maintaining temperatures and making sure that the compost breaks down completely. Then we incorporate that in the soil for our crops. The other soil enrichment program we use we call green manure or cover crops. And these are legumes and biomass producing plants such as clovers and rye and wheat and stuff like that, mostly grown over the winter months and incorporated in the soils in the spring for planting.
We've been farming out of co-op since 1998. This is when we established the land that we're currently growing on. Originally the land was used by two individual farmers, the Smith and the Nails. And based on land grants and everything, it was strictly used for farming. So the soil was basically been farming agricultural land for the last 56 years. We're conventional farmers. We found out through trial and error that basically the way that we fertilize it, when we fertilize it, and how much fertilizer we put at individual times, it constitutes us growing a very good product. Now, for us, spraying pesticide, which is one of the major problems that could go into contaminating the product, is a lot of our customers, you know, they don't want to see a whole lot of wormholes, a whole lot of stuff like that. But we've found that if we only go ahead and spray at the exact intervals, time based on the label itself, that we do a pretty good job of staying within the guidelines.
Water. What water source is used for irrigation? What source for processing? Has it been tested?
We have a 6-inch well that we don't have a pivot in, and we do the hard hose irrigation. We have ponds. And what we've done from the 6-inch well, we have a line running to the pond where we can pump water into it. And the pond itself is clay bottom, and it's been tested through the USDA. And the objective based on GAP certification is if you can swim in it, you can irrigate with it. And that's the type of water that we irrigate with. Now the water that we use as far as processing, the actual green itself in the building, that's potable water. That comes strictly through the well.
We use a very deep water source, a drilled well, 400 feet deep. The water is tested, it's clean. We bring it up into the garden through a pipe system that we lay through the middle of the garden. And at intervals we have a spigot that we tie into what we call a drip irrigation system. And this is a very efficient system. It uses a plastic tape with slits cut into it at intervals, and it delivers a slow and constant drip right to the area where we're growing. So we don't use water spraying systems. Again, it's a clean source of water. It's directed very efficiently, and I think it works very well as far as avoiding problems of pathogens and so forth.
Worker health and hygiene. Do you train your workers on hand washing and good personal hygiene?
I have an SOP that has a training SOP that has pictures. It's in English and it's Spanish. We place those pictures and those signs and explain exactly how to wash your hands, when you will wash your hands. The SOP tell them if they leave the area, they got to wash their hands before they go back. And what we've done, we have signs in the bathroom. We also have signs in the processing facility, and we have a hand wash in the processing facility. Even though they may be washing greens in the sink or whatever, if they go to the bathroom, they come back, they wash their hands and their gloves at the sink itself, then go to the processing sink and process.
Facilities and equipment. Are your facilities and equipment in good condition and clean and sanitized on a regular basis?
Probably the most specific direct thing we do is we have a facility that we use. It's a closed-in, I'll call it a kitchen, a processing kitchen. Again, it has the stainless steel sinks that we wash out with a bleach solution before we use it. The water is clean. Our kitchen is enclosed, so animals don't come in. They're not allowed in the facility. It's enclosed enough so there's virtually no bugs. We do see a bug every once in a while. The floor is a vinyl floor that can be washed and mopped. The walls are sprayed with polyurethane that can be wiped down, and we do that periodically too to ensure cleanliness.
Harvesting and storage. Is your equipment clean and sanitized? Are packing sheds clean and pest-free? Are storage areas clean and temperature controlled?
We utilize our knives, which we have washing sanitation procedures for that as well. They'll sanitize before they leave out of the building, go into the field, and they sanitize periodically while they're in the field. The objective is just to make sure that we minimize any contamination.
We do clean dirt off. We have a triple stainless steel sink where vegetables are rinsed, again with the clean well water, and then they're stored at refrigerated temperatures. So it's maintained, it's cleaned off, it's maintained at a cold temperature, it's taken to market cold, and usually between the time it's harvested and sold, it's about 24 to 48 hours.
Transport. Are trucks or trailers clean and sanitized? Are bins and boxes covered? And is the temperature controlled to prevent the growth of harmful bacteria and to preserve quality? If possible, use trucks or vehicles that have not been used to carry animals, raw manure, harmful chemicals, or other contaminants. If you must use vehicles that have been used in this way, thoroughly wash, rinse, and sanitize them before use with produce or other foods. Pack produce in clean, sanitized, covered containers to prevent contamination. If using cardboard boxes, the best practice is to use new ones and use them only once. Keeping produce refrigerated or cool helps to preserve best quality and slow the growth of harmful bacteria. Ice used to cool produce should be made of water suitable for drinking. If you have a refrigerated truck or trailer or a refrigeration unit, perform regular maintenance and check the temperature at least daily to ensure that it's working properly. Instances of foodborne illnesses tend to hurt the farmer and the market. News of food-related problems causes losses in revenue, even for farmers not involved in the outbreak. Learning about risks and taking steps to implement best practices to minimize those risks can protect you, your farm, and the people who buy your produce. For more information, contact your local Cooperative Extension office and see the Enhancing the Safety of Locally Grown Produce fact sheets on each component of the food safety model. Your Cooperative Extension educator can help you to ensure food safety from the farm to the table.